These cities were not built for people, they were built to extract them. In the 18th century, Europe's great cities expanded rapidly, but human lives inside them grew narrower. Palaces rose above crowded streets. Order was displayed, control was enforced. Cities became systems. They organized labor, they concentrated wealth, they absorbed risk without mercy. Every stone required hands, every shipment required bodies. Work never stopped, but security never arrived. Density intensified poverty. Poverty accelerated disease. Disease followed trade routes, housing, and hunger. War did not remain distant. It entered cities through taxation, shortages, hospitals, and ruins. Nothing here happened by accident. Each consequence followed design. This series traces that chain, from power to city, from city to labor, from labor to collapse. Each image captures a moment. Together, they expose a system. Now, we begin where control first takes shape, the city as power made visible. Power did not announce itself loudly in the 18th century. It arranged space. Venice presented authority through balance, symmetry, and ritual. Piazza San Marco functioned as a political stage. The open square suggested freedom, but movement followed invisible rules. Architecture guided crowds. Sightlines controlled attention. By the 1700s, Venice was declining economically, yet its image remained disciplined. Ceremony replaced dominance. Order replaced force. The Republic depended on appearance to sustain legitimacy. Stability was performed daily. Behind facades, hierarchy remained rigid. Access was limited. Power survived by being seen as permanent. Even when foundations weakened, this city shows how authority first takes shape, through urban form. But once power fixes itself in stone, it demands administration. That demand leads north, to a city built not on spectacle, but on obedience. Berlin did not soften power, it concentrated it. The Stadtschloss dominated the city physically and symbolically. Everything aligned toward authority. Urban design followed military logic. Straight lines replaced organic growth. The state valued efficiency above comfort, discipline above expression. Officials and soldiers moved with purpose. Routine reinforced hierarchy. The palace was not decorative, it was operational. Berlin's growth reflected absolutism. Power required constant administration. Citizens existed within systems, not alongside them. Order was enforced through predictability. Deviation was discouraged. This city shows power hardened into structure, less theatrical, more relentless. But systems require labor. Administration cannot function alone. Once authority expands, it pulls people inward, and when people concentrate, pressure begins to surface. The next city reveals what happens when growth accelerates without restraint. London expanded faster than it could sustain. Opportunity attracted the desperate. Gin Lane exposes that pressure, not as metaphor, as consequence. Cheap alcohol filled gaps left by security. Addiction replaced stability. Buildings decayed alongside bodies. Families fractured. Labor disappeared when survival failed. The city lost balance. This was not moral collapse alone. It was structural neglect. Wealth circulated upward. Risk settled below. Urban growth created abundance, but distributed harm unevenly. The image confronts the cost of unmanaged expansion. Crowds without support collapse inward. London reveals the early fracture, when density outpaces care. But collapse does not stop movement. Cities continue functioning. Elsewhere, streets remain busy, trades persist. Another capital demonstrates how pressure hides behind productivity. Paris operated under constant compression. Space was never sufficient. Streets served every purpose at once: trade, transit, residence. Crowds overlapped without relief. Classes brushed past each other daily. Economic life appeared active, but sanitation lagged dangerously. Waste accumulated. Air stagnated. The city functioned near its limits, yet appeared stable. Order existed, but fragility increased quietly. Density amplified every shortage: food, space, health. Paris demonstrates how pressure can be normalized, how survival becomes routine. People adapted without escape. The city absorbed strain continuously, but adaptation demands effort, constant labor. Behind every functioning street were workers sustaining rhythm. To understand the system, we must slow down and look closely at the labor keeping cities alive. Chardin's scenes avoid grandeur. They document repetition. Domestic labor sustained urban life, quietly. Work occurred at human scale, without machines. Productivity depended on endurance, not innovation. Hands repeated tasks daily, without security. These workers were necessary, but invisible. Cities relied on this effort, yet offered little protection. Labor provided stability, but absorbed risk. Clothing wore thin, bodies tired. This was the foundation of urban order, uncelebrated. Without this work, cities stalled, but labor rarely remained indoors. It moved outward, toward docks, warehouses, trade routes. There, effort intensified, and danger increased. To see the system fully, we must follow labor to the edges of empire. Ports connected cities to the world. They also exposed workers to it. Dock labor was physical and dangerous. Loads moved by hand. Injuries were expected. Security was not. Trade enriched states, but strained bodies. Ports concentrated risk, disease, accidents, instability. Housing nearby was temporary, then permanent. Labor gathered where ships arrived. Density increased again. Empire depended on these spaces, yet neglected them. The port reveals extraction in motion. Value moved upward. Workers remained replaceable, invisible once exhausted. Where labor clustered, poverty followed. Crowded housing became unavoidable. Infrastructure failed. From ports, the city's underside expanded. To understand disease and collapse, we must enter the spaces left behind. Slums were not accidental. They were tolerated. Rapid migration overwhelmed housing. Rooms subdivided endlessly. Ventilation disappeared. Light vanished. Water access declined. Waste accumulated. Authorities recognized conditions, but acted minimally. Slums supplied cheap labor. Proximity mattered more than health. Urban growth depended on neglect. Poverty became structural. Fire, collapse, and illness were constant. Yet movement continued. The city absorbed loss quietly. Replacing bodies as needed, these districts revealed design by omission, suffering as infrastructure. Where poverty concentrates, disease finds opportunity. Crowding shortens distance, between bodies, between breath. The next space shows how cities responded when illness finally surfaced. 18th century wars served dynasties, not populations. Armies moved through civilian landscapes, cities supplied them, taxes increased, food prices rose, recruitment targeted the poor. Losses rarely reached elites. Battles disrupted trade routes, markets stalled, urban economies suffered indirectly, continuously. War reinforced hierarchy, while draining cities. Military success required extraction, from labor, from food. Conflict extended suffering, without resolving causes. Cities endured shortages silently, absorbing damage. When armies departed, ruins remained. Displacement followed, poverty deepened. The system reset at a lower level. Again. To understand the final cost, we must stay behind and watch what remains after power moves on. After war, cities did not recover quickly. They adapted downward. Homes lay damaged, resources scarce. Aid was limited, responsibility absent. Displaced populations crowded inward. Slums expanded again. Disease followed hunger. Labor shortages followed death. Trade resumed unevenly. Stability remained fragile. This aftermath reveals the full cycle. Power creates cities. Cities require labor. Labor produces poverty. Poverty enables disease. War accelerates collapse. Nothing here was accidental. Each step followed design. The 18th century city survived, but only by consuming lives, This system did not end in the 1700s. It evolved. To recognize it, we must first see it clearly. And now, with the structure exposed, the reconstruction can begin.